check it out. It's Rob Odie, man. Spotlight 39. I'm in Studio 39, aka the Bear Cave. We got a good one. Man, the world is crumbling around us in high school sports slash college sports. Everything is all over the media. We know what's going on, man. But tonight, we're not talking about that. Tonight, we're going to focus on the young man and the young man himself. So, if you're tapped in, show my man some love. I'll bring it up on the screen. That's what it's all about. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications on, all that good stuff, right? That's what YouTube likes. More importantly, give this video a thumbs up so YouTube will continue to push this thing out so we can continue to get these young men the exposure they deserve. With that being said, let's find out who we got, man. It's all over social media. You know who I got on the show. But let's bring them up live and in color. Matter of fact, I hit the wrong button, but here we are. So, we're having some technical difficulties. It is all well. He's going to rejoin us here in just a moment. So, with that being said, let me see if we can't bring him back up. Let me pull up a couple of messages here, right? So, we got some Sooner fans on here, Boomer Sooner, right? Appreciate y'all tapping in. With that being said, man, I'm going to jump back to the splash screen just for a moment until I can get him back on, and I'll be right. All right, so check it out. As promised, my man is here. He's live. He's in the building. Well, technically, I'm here in Virginia. He's there in Florida. But it's all love, man. So, with that being said, go ahead. Formally tell the world who you are, where you're from, what you do, all that good stuff, man. Just give us a little insight about who Gabe is. The floor is yours.
Well, to start off saying my name is Gabe Dindy, and I go to high school at Lakeland High School in Lakeland, Florida, and I'm from the class of 2022, and also play the position of DN.
DN, class of 22, Lakeland, Florida, Lakeland High School. And that was not a planned transfer, right? We got to chat a little bit off air, man. And, I was curious, was it, leaving Louisiana, going to Florida, for a specific school, and that wasn't the case, which was pretty cool to find out. So, man, let's do this. Let's learn about you, man. Let's hear your story. So let's kind of rewind the clock. Let's take it back to whenever it was that you first threw on some pads and a helmet, or even before that, maybe when you grabbed the football and, started toting the rock. Whatever it was, man, let's hear about when you started playing football, and let's learn about, ultimately what got you to where you are now, right? So let's have a good grown man conversation because, happy belated birthday, early November.
Appreciate it.
Shout out.
Appreciate it.
So, yeah, man, let's have a nice adult grown man conversation. Walk
All
us through
right.
your story.
So we can start back in Louisiana because that's where that's where it all started. And it started when I was like five, six, and in Louisiana we had flag football around like 5 and 6 year olds. So I think it was when I was five, and my dad was my coach. And when we got there, when I got to practice and stuff, I was doing good because that's like the first time I ever started picking up football and stuff. I'd learned about football. I grew up watching football, and so when we started getting into games and stuff. The thing me watching, learning, and watching football my whole life, I all I knew was tackle. I couldn't get fathom the concept of flag, and so when I got in the game, I used to hit everybody, and so ever since then, my dad just moved me up. Because I've always been bigger than the other kids, I guess you could say that, and so he moved me up. So like when I was 8, I used to play in like the 9 and 10 leagues and stuff like that, and so. Well, when I was five, it was 5 going on 6. I was playing in 7 and 8 because I was tackling everybody, and that's when tackle started. And so that's where it all started basically, and that's I started playing running back, actually, a running back and linebacker, and that's what I
Okay.
usually stuck to until I actually got into high school. And so I mean, that's where it started, and I mean, that's where I grew to love football, meeting people and just being able to get connected. And you know who Ace Fawcett is, right? Does
Does the edit?
works for, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We're from the same spot. That we've been friends for a while.
Oh, so that's
Uh,
why he blessed you with
yeah,
the
we,
edit, right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
obviously, he does, most all the top recruits, but your edit was a little different than the norm, man. I was digging it, so
yeah,
I
yeah.
could see where that came from.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Yeah,
he's from down in Louisiana, right?
yes, sir. We all grew up in a small town, a very small town called Kinder, Louisiana. That's not. I don't think you can see it on the map, but the only thing we're known for is we have a big casino right in the small town. So people
You know,
usually
that's
come
what
to
pays the
travel. That's
bills, right?
probably the yeah, I guess so. And so that's where it all started. I mean, we have a lot of D1 people coming out of that small town. It's really crazy. But usually, a couple of us already like moved on to different places, and so starting when I was like 11, that's when I moved to Florida because of my dad's job because he's a preacher, and he got a better opportunity in Florida. We had no idea who Lakeland Dreadnoughts were or the past, and so the funny thing is when we first got to Florida, we drove past the stadium and we were like Dreadnoughts, like what kind of name is a Dreadnought? And we like looked it up and we were like. And so we finally figured out what a dreadnought was, which is a ship, a army ship. And so it was like, all right. And so what really happened is that we were looking at schools like Lakeland Christian and of course George Jenkins and Kathleen and Lakeland, all because we have where you when you're zoned somewhere, that's where you go.
Right.
And so we were like right at the edge of the Lakeland zone, and so like right by us was George Jenkins, and so we were actually zoned for Lakeland, and so that's where my brother played before I got into high school. He played there for two
Okay.
years, and so that's where it all started, and then I met Coach Castle at the YMCA. I was playing basketball. I met Coach Castle, and he was like, "You play football?" And I was like, "Yeah, yes, sir."
Yes,
And
you do.
yeah, and then he was like, wait, how old are you?" And he was like, "I was like 13," and he was like, "Wait, there's no way." And so like that's where it all started, and then that's where the football career started. And my freshman year, that's when I had a great defensive line. In front of me, I had Lloyd Summerall. They're all playing D1 right now.
So
He's
did you
playing for
come in
Florida.
freshman year playing varsity starting, or
Yes,
did
sir.
you have to
Yes,
did
sir.
you have to earn the spot? You straight walked in and said I'm that guy freshman year.
No, I actually didn't
I've been
start
tackling
freshman
kids
year.
since I was a 4 year old, right?
Yeah, I actually didn't start freshman year. I was just more of the backup type person,
Okay.
but I learned a lot from Latrell Jean, Trey Huntley, Lloyd Summerall. They were all in front of me. Was a great D line, and that's the year we
I would say
won the
so.
state championship. And so they taught me so much and got me ready for the football. And actually, they taught me a lot because I didn't play DN until I got into high school. So I had to start all over and learn everything, and so they kind of helped me
So
go
man,
through
you were a
that.
linebacker or running back.
Yes, sir.
You were either running people over or just plowing full steam ahead, right?
Yes, sir. And
All
so
right.
that all that happened and getting into my freshman year when they all graduated. I went to a couple camps. I'm not a big person. Big fan of the camps. I don't know. I just don't like them that much. And so
All right.
I went
Look,
there
fair enough.
and I did all right at my first camp, which was an Under Armour All American camp. I did all right. I wasn't really happy with it, but then it started. I started wanting to take it serious. Getting into my sophomore year, I wanted to make a change to be better. And there's this dude named Willie Lampkin. He plays for Coastal Carolina right now, and he was our best offensive lineman. I was like, I think I'm gonna play. He was a senior and I was a sophomore, and I was like, I'm gonna play against this man every single play so I can get better. And that's actually
I
where my
like it.
offers came at because summertime before I turned sophomore, before I was a sophomore, we used to do board drills every single practice and Oklahoma drills and all that type of stuff. And so that's where we both got most of our offers at because we used to go head to head and people used to come watch us like Miami and Florida and different places like that. And
Hold on,
so,
hold on. So you and
one,
your O lineman would link up during the off season and just do 1-on-ones.
well, we have practice like spring practice and summer
Oh, okay,
workouts
okay,
and
okay.
stuff like
I was
that.
about to say,
Yeah.
look, man, that's next level. I like it. But no, even then,
Yes, sir.
the fact that you sought after the best dude on the team, right? Like on the O line. If you want to be the
Yes,
best
sir.
you got to go against the best them, and that's
Yes,
exactly
sir.
what you did. And I try to have that conversation anytime that I'm doing my 9 to 5, right? And I got to coach my team, and I'm like, look, if you walk into a room and you're the smartest guy there, you're in the wrong room, right? You got
Yeah.
to go somewhere where you're not the smartest guy, right? You don't want to know the most. Otherwise, how are you going to grow? So I
Yes,
think
sir.
that's pretty big of you, man. I like that. But go ahead.
Yes, sir. So continuing from there, that's one practice I was like, because my coach always likes messing with me. He was like, I got to tell you something. He like looked real sad, and I was like, yeah, what is it? And he was like, I'm sorry to tell you, but you got an offer from Miami. I was like, there's no way, because it was like my first offer. I got
I'm
Southern
sorry, man. It's
Southern Miss in
Miami.
Miami. Yeah, he was just
Miami's your
joking
first,
around. He was just joking around. I was pretty excited. I called my
man.
parents, and it was all over Twitter and stuff like that. And that's kind of where it started at. And then
So Miami comes calling
spring
first
game.
before
What'd you say?
sophomore year. You said Miami came calling before sophomore.
Yes, sir. All that happened before sophomore year. We're not even
I
done
love
with
it.
sophomore year yet.
All right, we ain't got to
Actually,
the sophomore season, right?
yeah, yeah. We're really into sophomore year, I mean sophomore, yeah, season, and so for still freshman season, when I'm doing my spring game, actually, that's that was not a very good game for me because this is what happened. When I got there, I talked to Florida, I talked to Oklahoma, I talked to Kentucky, I talked to a whole bunch of people that day, my freshman year, and they were like, you better do good. And I was like, all right. But this is me being a freshman. Like, I don't even know. It was like, it was
Man,
crazy. And so I got into that game. I was so nervous. Like, I could not play good at all. So, like, after that, and it was just, I don't know. It was just crazy. Like, my heart was pounding. And
you had
after
the
that
world
whole
on your
game,
shoulders, right?
yeah, after that whole game, I was like, I did horrible. I like these people are never about to talk to me again, and so
Look,
like
man, Miami's
that
leaving
gave
now,
me,
right? They wrap.
yeah,
No, it's a wrap. I take the offer back, man. We were kidding.
yeah.
Go back to your one on
But
one.
yes, sir. After that, I was like, I gotta get better. I gotta prove them that I'm actually better than what I showed. And I sophomore year was a little crazy, and so I'm gonna tell you what happened sophomore year because people don't know what really happened sophomore year.
Look, man,
And
this is your
so,
story. I'm excited to hear it.
sophomore year, I got out. We have a little kickoff classic, and I had like 3 sacks that game, which didn't count to my sack
You had like
record.
three sacks, right?
Yes, sir. Which didn't count to my stats that year because it was like a kickoff classic, and so that's like our little pregame. And so I did that, and then got like 3 sacks next game, 2 sacks next game, like averaging 3 or 2 sacks a game. And then, like my fourth game, I had I got real sick. And I went to like after practice, I was just throwing up, constantly throwing up and stuff like that, and I just couldn't shake it. Like I just thought it was like a little bug or something like that. I got real sick, and I was just on the couch. I didn't eat or drink for a whole week, and so then I was like, I convinced my mom and dad to let me go play that football game that Friday, and so I was like, "Man, I'm fine right now." Like I ate that Thursday, and I was like, "I think I can play." And so they were like, "All right, we'll just take it easy." And I said, "Okay." And so I went to that game, and my arm was swollen about like this big, um, because I had MRSA, which was a very deadly disease,
Yeah.
infection. And so I played that game and at halftime I was like, I can't do it no more. And so I got rushed to the hospital that night, had emergency surgery Saturday, and they were like, if you would have kept playing or so, you could have died. And so I was in the hospital for a week. I missed 4 games, and I came back and I got like 3 sacks again. And so I ended that year with we lost in like third, fourth round. I ended that year with 12, 13, no, 14 sacks
Dang.
on that
And that's
year.
and that's missing 4 games, four and a
Yes,
half,
sir.
right? Technically.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And so that was a crazy season. And so junior year, it really didn't go as I planned. We had the talent for like team wise, we had the talent, but it's just we couldn't get a hold of it. DBs were kind of slacking. A defensive end and DBs are supposed to be like that because that's what like they help each other. Because if I put
Oh yeah.
pressure on the quarterback, they can get interceptions. But if they lock them up, I get more time to go to the quarterback. And so they were young and kind of slacking, and so I didn't really give me much time to get back there. And so I didn't really have the season I wanted to, or couldn't have the season I wanted to, and I wasn't really of a leader because I don't like really talking that much, but I talk when I need to. And this year, I kind of got out of that. My coach helped me get out of that. And so I mean, I tried to be more of a leader and be more outspoken and trying to
I like
talk
it.
to people and encourage people. And it worked for the best this year. But unfortunately, I got injured. And then I still tried to lead them. But, it's not the same when you're not on the field with them, trying to
Right.
encourage them as you're playing. And so all that, it got real crazy. And just different adversities. I mean, I've been through just privately adversities that they're going through me in the past years, past months, and it's just been crazy. I mean, uh, I just think God's signs, the greatest signs, sometimes show through adversity, and I mean,
That's it.
sometimes the clearer signs are through adversity, like you got it, you need to take this path, or so. And so it's just some things are crazy. Some people you lose on the way,
Yeah.
people that you thought was real, but it's not real anymore. And so sometimes you lose those people on the way, and sometimes they're like a roadblock, but you just got to keep pushing on through this whole time. And sometimes you got to use that stuff as fuel to keep pushing on and playing your
Absolutely.
hardest. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man. So come full circle, right?
Yes, sir.
We get through the recruiting process. You know, I don't know, were you one of the young men that counted your offers? If so, what was the end number? Did you get to have the opportunity to pretty much any P5 in the nation, or was there still a couple that didn't come calling?
I didn't really count my offers. I was happy whatever I got because
Respect
thing
to
is,
you.
I really wasn't in in the loop about football because I was in a small town, so like I really didn't know how this D1 stuff worked at all. So I didn't really know. I was just grateful for what I got, knowing that my college was getting paid for because I want to get my education and all that stuff. And so that's a great opportunity to get your college paid for. So I was happy with whatever I got, and everybody's telling me, why didn't you go to Georgia? Why didn't you go to Georgia? I was like, Georgia didn't talk to me one time. And so I
Really?
was like, yeah, I was like, I don't know. I mean, I guess they didn't want me. It doesn't really matter to me. I'd rather go to somewhere that somebody wants me. And so, me growing up, I did grow up as an Oklahoma fan, but like I put that during this recruitment, like people don't like understand that I put that behind me. Like I didn't
Yeah, I
really
mean,
care
you
that
got to
I was
make
an
you got to
Oklahoma
make the
fan.
business
Like, 'cause,
decision,
like
right? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
what if
Like,
you go to that place because off of your little instincts, but you don't
yeah,
fit in that at that place? So I literally gave everybody a chance. Everybody had a chance. Like
I
me
love it.
being an Oklahoma fan at all, I mean, it didn't really matter at all to me. And so
So
like
so let's do
everybody's
this,
like, your
man.
dad, what was that?
I was gonna say, so let's do this, man. So with your top programs, right? Because you narrowed it down to what, top two, top three, something like that.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So
Yes, sir.
what were your final top schools, and then what kind of led you to those programs, and then walk us through why Oklahoma, right? Like,
Yes, sir.
why become a Sooner?
Yes, sir. Well, my top two, I had a top two, which was Texas A&M and Oklahoma, and those were the ones that were battling out, and they battled it out until the last like few days of my decision.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. They were both like real tight, and I don't know. I just felt. I mean, they both showed so much love to me. I built relationships and just going through that whole entire process, and those were the two that just kept on with me. Like they wanted me to be there, and it's just like, I mean,
So they weren't
I
Georgia,
just great.
right? It wasn't Kirby Smart not showing you no love, right? Like,
Yeah,
everybody wants
yeah,
to be a dog, but if the head dog don't come calling, then why be a
yes,
part of
sir,
that dog pound? So
yes, sir.
I like your mindset, man. I love it. So go ahead. I just wanted to chime in. So built a
You're good.
relationship, showing a lot of love, right? And
Yes,
I'm
sir.
learning through this thing, man, that they don't just show you love, right? Were these programs reaching out to your parents and your siblings, wishing them happy
Yes, sir.
birthdays and happy holidays and stuff?
Yes, sir. Definitely. They definitely showed that love towards my family. That's why I
Love it.
really appreciate it. But people, they come into this process thinking about what's about to happen next year, what's about to happen next year. What I kind of look at is where can I be for 4 years? Because this is for the long goal. I gotta stay there. I gotta be able to like these people. Like I can't just be
Yep.
there hating these people. I want to have somebody that I can talk to, somebody that I can encourage, and they can encourage me back. And that's just wanted something I really wanted, and that's what both of those teams had. And so it's just, that's the reason why it came down to those two teams because they showed what I needed during that whole process.
Hey, so they checked the boxes, right?
Yes, sir.
So when it came down to decision time, how did Oklahoma, squeeze out, the little bit of, extra energy to get that commitment over Texas A&M? Because look, man, look, Texas A&M, they're building something special, right? They got a lot of
Yes,
great
sir.
things happening. They got a lot of big time recruits. Oklahoma, obviously, up until recent moments, was pretty stacked, in their 22 class was pretty loaded with recruits. So what was that deciding factor? What was the tipping point?
Yes, sir. The fan base in Oklahoma, I feel like they really love me and like they act like I mean, they needed me. Like I feel like I could make a change for Oklahoma, and
I
it's
like it.
like yeah, it was just I feel like I could stand out there and just give them that piece that they needed, and I just felt and then it just felt like I just felt went off instinct basically. Yeah. It could, like I said, it came down to like the final days. I didn't really let the coaches know until like the day before I actually picked the hat, and so
Really?
it was just crazy. I was stressed, very stressed, because
I can imagine.
knowing that, I mean, I know that I don't know. It was just like the relationships I built. I didn't want to like break anybody or anything. I know they go through this process and stuff, but like relationships are relationships. You still talk to those people and stuff like that. And so
Yeah.
that was definitely a hard part, just having this process and stuff going on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, this isn't, about what's happening around us, man. We know what's happening around us, right? We're living it. We're seeing it all over social media. But your story is one heck of a story, man. And I think we got a lot out of it, and I think we got a great snapshot of exactly who you are, what you represent, and the why, right? There's
Yes,
always a
sir.
why, and if you don't find that why, then what are you doing, right? And I
Yes,
think
sir.
you found that why. You were obviously, an Oklahoma fan, and then you said, you know what, I'm going to put that on the back burner. I love Oklahoma, but I want to give every program an opportunity, right? I want to see what
Yes, sir.
what program A through Z has to offer me, right? And when you get to Georgia, right, Georgia Nation, they want to know why you can come to Georgia. Georgia didn't show you no love, right? They did not just show you
Yes,
no
sir.
love; they just didn't even have a conversation. So
Yes, sir.
this, I'm curious. Did we get a Georgia offer?
No.
They didn't even. So there was zero communication. That
Yeah.
is very interesting coming from, depending upon what ranking system you look at, the number two guy in the country. So look, man, hats off to you. First class, great young man. So let's do this, man. let's I know we got to know you a little bit on the personal side, but let's kind of stop talking football. I think football is great. I love football, obviously, but I think it's even more important to learn a little bit about you and who you are and what you represent outside of the game. So, what are some things that most people wouldn't know about Gabe, right? What does Gabe like to do outside of football, outside of tackling people, from the age of 4? What does Gabe like to do?
Um, Something that I I mean, nothing's really private about it. It's like I put out in public all the time. Is yeah, my faith is one of me is the biggest thing for me. I've always said it, and my motto is Ecclesiastes 9:10, which kind of goes with football, which says, "Whatever your hands find to do, do with all your might." And so, as I'm playing football, I'm going to do that with all my might. And so, me being a preacher's son, that's my end goal. I do want to be a preacher, and I feel, I
Love it.
mean, putting football back into perspective, and it kind of goes together. I just want to. I feel like I can connect with people and encourage people to do better in their lives, just with the opportunities that I have. Like me being like I'm not saying a regular person, person that's not getting recruited like this. I wouldn't really have the opportunities or the to be able to talk because these people, like, if you think about it, they're kind of higher up than
Right?
your average American, and so like you wouldn't really be like a regular person just going to be able to talk to like Lincoln Riley or something like that, be like, "Hey, what's up?" and like have a conversation with him constantly, unless you've
Yep.
known him before he was who he was. And so, like, me getting this opportunity, it feels like I can be able to encourage and help people that don't really have the understanding that they think they have.
I like it, man. You are, an even better person than I already thought you were, man. I had no idea, that you were the modern day Tim Tebow, man. I like it.
Yes,
You
sir.
preacher's son, big into your faith, right? And it clearly shows. Very humble young man. I love everything that you stand for, everything that you represent. So let's do this, man. I'm not going to take up a whole lot more of your time. You've already been kicking it with me for a good half hour or better. And I appreciate it, man, because you've had one great story to share. And I think on a day like today, your story is, something positive to come out of everything. So I'm very pleased to have you on, and I couldn't be more thankful for you and for the fan base, man, because they're getting, exactly as advertised, right? You are who you are, and you say you want to make an impact. I think you're going to go in, you're going to make the impact on and off the field. I think you're going to, impact the communities because obviously these programs, during the off season and during off days, man, they give back, right? And
Yes,
it's
sir.
always a nice thing to give back to your community. And being a student athlete, I'm sure you already have kids that look up to you, whether it be in church, whether it be, just in your neighborhood or whatever the case is. And anytime that kids, get to interact with student athletes, especially football players, it feels like, they tend to look up to you as like a superhero, right? Like you got a cape
Yes,
on or
sir.
something. So, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep being great. Stay humble. Don't change anything, man, because I think you got the right mindset with the right goals, and I think you got a very bright future. With that being said, let me give you the floor one last time. You got a lot of support on here. Whether it's friends, family, fans, whoever. But if you got anything you want to say to Sooner Nation, right? By all means, do so. And then also take this time to just show love back to anybody that's been there for you, whether it's your parents, your friends, coaches, teammates, whoever it is that's helped you along your journey, man. Show them some love. Call them out by name because I think it's big. Don't just say, my uncle, my aunt. No, man, say my Uncle Jim, whoever it is that's been there for you. Show them some love back too. And then we'll close this
All
thing out.
right. Yeah. Like I said at the beginning, some people that I wish was here, not here right now. It's like not like they passed, but, they did different things. They had to take their own path, but like people that I
Sure.
wish was here. I mean, they did help me. I'm not really going to mention them by name, but they did
Hey,
help me during this process, even though they're not here right now. But I just, well, I think God knows who they are, so I appreciate them. And
we'll take it.
so, God, man, God is definitely a big part of why I'm here, and I couldn't do anything without God because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so, and I also thank my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sister. Uh, they've always been behind me every step of the way. Even though my dad and mom are Oakland fans, Um, Even my brother is a Oklahoma State fan, which we kind of disowned him a long time. Just kidding. But
Hey, look, man, I just had
uh,
his quarterback on, probably about
yeah,
2 or 3 weeks ago.
yes, sir. And I appreciate them. They've been behind my back, just pushing me on, going through different trials in life as this football stuff. This stuff gets real stressful, and they've helped me every bit of the way. All the talks I've had with my sister, my brother, my mom, my dad, has just helped me through endless times, just times that you think is never going to end, but they help you push through. I also have a buddy named Drew Steersman. That's my man.
There it is.
He's helped me. Yeah, I don't think he knows how much he's helped me.
He
We
does
every
now.
time like I just get stressed or something, we hop on a game, do a bunch of fun stuff and all that. Like that stuff really helps me just going through the stress that I've been through. What people forget is that we're still kids. Half of the people that are in this
I said
experience,
that
like
earlier, man. I
y'all
said that
don't know
earlier.
half of the thing. You don't know half the
Shoot.
things we go through. We are
Let,
17, 16,
Here, let me
18.
let me pause
We
you right there, man. Let me pause you right there, because man, that is almost verbatim what I tweeted out earlier. With all the craziness that's happening around Oklahoma, right, in the media, I made it very public to say, you know what, we're still dealing with kids at the end of the day, right? So we got to be very mindful. We got to be supportive. We got to be respectful of everybody's decisions, right? Because we got kids decommitting, right? Which everybody does it for their own reasons, and we got people in there just coming on blasting them, right? And it's like, look, they're kids. At the end of the day, you guys are still kids. You look like a grown man, right? I mean, sitting here looking at you, you look like a 25-year-old grown man ready to go. But you're still 18 years old, right? You just
yes,
turned
sir.
18. You're still a kid, and that's what we're dealing with. So I mean, man, I like you even more. I had to stop you there because that's almost exactly what I said earlier. So go ahead, man. Continue,
Yeah.
continue on your preaching. I like it.
Yes, sir. I'm just continue with that is that these kids are 17, 18, and they're having to make decisions that a 30-year-old has to make, like a 25-year-old has to make. These people, I mean, they're having to make these decisions are hard. I mean,
Yeah.
and we have to these things that happen like these things let's just talk about it. The thing that happened with Lincoln Riley, this affected people's future. I mean, like it could affect the people's future on how we end up or what we do in the future. Because like, there's not really stable ground right now at Oklahoma. It's just that it's like
Carousel.
we don't. If we did stay at Oklahoma, we're risking it. If we didn't stay at Oklahoma, we're risking it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a lose lose for us. The people that left, they don't want to leave. I promise you that. It didn't want to leave
I
at
mean, they
all. But
committed for a reason, right?
yeah,
You
they
know,
committed.
they.
I mean, we were all just committed to Oklahoma 100%. But like
Yeah.
the things that happened, it's like you can't help that. I can't help that. He did what was best for his family. You can't even bash him for what he did because
Exactly.
it's his life. It's his
You know,
life. Like we like to
if somebody
control.
offered you a job promotion, right, and they're gonna give you X amount more than what you're making now, and if that's the right thing for your family, human nature says you better take that, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, so being a fan, you might not be very happy, but being a human, we should respect it and support it.
Yeah. Another thing we can open up another topic. This is something that I've
Let's
always
do it.
just thought about is just us. I mean, people. Like us players, I feel like people have normalized it that we're like a pawn to a game. Like we don't have emotions or feelings. Because when I went to some games and they started booing their quarterbacks, started booing players that are doing bad. These people are humans just like you. They're out there
Yeah,
doing something that most people can't do. But
playing
like
playing a
you're
game that
too
they love.
focused. You're too focused on that's like it's a player. It's just a player. It's like a pawn to the game. It's a pawn to your team that you like, and so
Yeah,
you really don't care how that person feels, but you just want to keep on going, antagonizing them. People haters that are just gonna try to put you down. It's like these people have feelings. These people are kids. They're kids. They really have not got the real experience of the world yet. But like every time somebody does something bad or just like the Lincoln Riley incident, he did what he needed to do, but people are just bashing him, bashing him, bashing him. I mean, it's like I said, it's his life.
Yeah.
It's crazy because that's just people just normalized like these kids are some pawns to a game. Like they really don't have a life. It's like they're there for my entertainment. So I mean,
Yeah.
people don't want to admit that, but most people, I mean, if
That's the
not everybody,
reality.
is guilty of that.
That's the reality, man. Like for me, I know it firsthand, right? I'm a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan. So if you know anything about the Eagles and their fan base, you know they're going to do what they do to win, right? They
Yes, sir.
don't care if you're Santa Claus, and I say that literally, they don't care if you're Santa Claus. They will boo you and throw trash your way because their team didn't win, right? And that's exactly what you were mentioning, man. Like you guys are kids, right? You're as you mentioned, pawns to the game in our eyes as fans, man. And we got to do a better job of being respectful and mindful that you're still kids. Even when you get to college, you're still kids. I mean, you're becoming men, and you will become a man, but you're still a kid in a sense, right? And I mean, you just nailed it. You nailed it spot on with exactly the problem that's going on around us right now. I mean, Oklahoma as a fan base is burning down, right? I mean, it is just, you got fans bashing fans, fans bashing players, bashing coaches, bashing anybody that they can bash, right? And it's all being publicly aired out. And as you mentioned several times, the stress. Like you went from just being a regular high school kid, right? Or in your situation, I guess you were a high school kid being a freshman, to life changing, almost stardom, right? I mean, because as soon as
Yes, sir.
you started getting recruited, right, and then you had Rivals and 247, and then now On3, you got all these, rating systems and programs coming your way, right? They found who you were, and then they start tagging you as a 4 star, as a 5 star. Then all of a sudden your popularity continues to blow, right? And more people are following you and wanting to know more about you. They don't care about you in a sense, right? I mean, I don't say that disrespectfully, but like they don't care and who you are. They care about what you're going to bring to their team that they want you to commit to. And that's why when I do this show, I think it's the most important aspect of finding out who you are outside of the game. And you hit a lot of topics, man. And I appreciate you opening up this can of worms because again, I prepped you and I told you this wasn't anything that I had planned. This wasn't my cup of tea. It isn't my style of media, but it is a good conversation. And what you said, man, was just so spot on. I absolutely love that we had this conversation. So thank you for that. And with that, I'm going to close this thing out because I done held you for 45 minutes. It's Monday Night Football. We got the Seahawks versus the football team, the Washington football team, right? Uh,
Yes, sir.
so with that being said, I'm going to close it out. I'm going to say stay safe, stay humble, man. Keep doing what you do and keep being you. You are a great young man with a lot to give, and I think you're going to give to whoever it is that's around you, man. You are a natural leader, whether you're outspoken or not. You've got that leadership inside of you. Don't keep it inside, man. Just bring it out. Bring it out more. Because the more you talk, the more energy and the more, you could just feel it, right? And I'm sure you probably get that because your pops is a preacher, right? And he probably speaks with power, and you get that from him. So just keep doing that. And I think you're going to have an absolute amazing life, amazing career. You're going to be able to accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish, whether that's football or outside the game of football. So again, thank you for jumping on. For everybody that's watching, we've had a whole lot of you that's been tapped in this whole entire time. I appreciate it. With that being said, I'm going to close this thing out. Spotlight 39. I'm coming back tomorrow night. We're doing live film reviews. So you can tell your teammates, tell your friends, right? We're doing live film reviews, no joke, on air, right? I'll be joined by either one or multiple co-hosts. And we do live film breakdowns at no charge with feedback given, man. It's great for the, student athletes looking for exposure. So come join us tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. We'll be doing that thing for about 2 hours. Until then, check out the rest of the interviews, man. I got a laundry list, man. Laundry list. I'm Rob Odie, Spotlight 39. Gabe, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, sir.